Hello, everybody. Welcome back to. Sorry, still a little bit under the weather today. Hopefully, I'll be better tomorrow, but I'm not for sure. But I'm getting feeling a little bit better today. Anyway, my thoughts on Stranger Things. It's a good show. I actually really enjoy Stranger Things. I think the visuals are amazing, and being from Indiana, I like seeing the show based in Indiana. Now we'll get into a little critique first. The way they portray Indiana, they miss a lot of marks. I don't know if they definitely missed a lot of marks of how Indiana looks and like the ground. Obviously, it's set in a town, so I mean every town's different. But if you drive through Indiana, you know there's cornfields, and some more cornfields. So that was also one of my problems with it. There's like almost no cornfields in the show, but not the big deal. Anyway, first season, I'm just gonna go season by season and talk about each season because season 1 through season 4, that's what's out so far. I'll definitely be watching season 5, making a video about it ASAP as soon as I get to it. But anyway, let's just start off with season 1. It's a good start to a show. You cannot deny that whatsoever. Sorry, I get a little bit tired real quick. I'm still kind of sick. Not to bitch about it, but anyway. So anyway, season 1 kicks off. We're just introduced to the characters in the first episode. We're just showing everybody. I think it does a really good job about that. It shows a little bit of background to each character. And I really enjoyed season 1, honestly. I think there's a lot of good moments. I don't think it's really too dull, but it definitely, I feel like season 1 is the dullest, has like the dullest like stints in the season, but you're still learning so much lore and stuff that on rewatch it makes it worth it. You notice a lot more different things. You guys are probably going to notice a bunch of cuts in this video. Again, I'm just not feeling too well. So anyway, season 1, I really do enjoy season 1. There's a lot to enjoy about it, obviously, with a lot of, it has very good background development. Obviously, the protagonist in the season is kind of weak. Like, obviously, it's there's a lot of things happening, but I feel like we don't get to see the Demogorgon a whole lot. And when he's on screen, I don't like how, like, the lights are flashing all over. You barely really see him. The fight's just kind of like, the fight scene in that part isn't the greatest. And also, with 11, she doesn't really, she uses her powers kind of smartly, and I also like how she kind of, like, is in the basement, but there's a lot of holes with that story with 11 in my opinion, and honestly I think she's one of the weakest points of the season. That might be a hot take, but 11 just isn't my favorite character in the series, and not by a long shot, honestly. I feel like when she's on screen it's kind of weak with her and Mike. I do like Mike as a character, and I'll get into that a little bit more later, but I just think 11 is the weakest part about the season. Another thing I'd like to say is that I really enjoy how much they make you hate like the scientists and stuff in the show, and I think it definitely is a good payoff, especially like in the later seasons as well. Now, again, my the strongest point about the season, again, there's gonna be a lot of cuts. I usually don't do cuts, so it might be a little weird in this video, but definitely the strongest part of this season, I think, is Steven and Nancy's relationship, and with what's his name? Oh crap, I have the list pulled up here. Again, I'm terrible with names. It's always going to be a thing with me like that. Like in shows, doesn't matter how good the character is. Jonathan. Doesn't matter how good the character is. I will just always forget the names and then just have to be reminded. So anyway, and their like dynamic and like their scenes, I think, are the most fun to watch. It's definitely the most engaging to watch, in my opinion, to be honest. But also, I think they don't really play Jonathan's character really great, because why would Nancy really fall for this guy? Like, it's not like, I think they do a really bad job with Steve in the season, because I think that he's just a likable guy. I think there's like some underlying tones where they might like, they try to like hint you at thinking like he's a bad guy, like he's trying to almost like manipulate Nancy, but I never really see that, and it never really shows him doing that. And I like the step he takes when Nancy finally tells him to F off after he fights Jonathan for basically no reason. And that's like kind of like, it's just unexpected for his character, because they really haven't shown us like those tendencies that he would really want to do that. And then Nancy tells him to F off, then he like changes his ways and becomes a nicer person. So I honestly really do enjoy that part about it, but I just really wish that they would have made you hate him a little bit more. Like, they kind of a little pushed that a little bit, and then the character change would have been a little bit more dramatic. And also, it's a really good payoff, like his fight scene at the end, and yeah, whatever. And he doesn't really bat an eye at like why Nancy's hanging out with Jonathan. He's just like, oh, what's going on? And then he's just kind of in this situation. So I really do like their scenes. Again, I think 11 and Mike are kind of the weakest points, but it's good for the story overall, because again, it's a lot of building pieces in this first season. So yeah, I'm not gonna really add too much about that. Rest about the season. Then we get into season two, and then we got two new characters like right off rip, and I really do enjoy them. Honestly, a couple of my favorite characters are Billy. Great character. I think his character was again. I think this is what they more so wanted to do with Jonathan, like the amount of hatred you have for Billy compared to Jonathan, because like or not Jonathan, what the hell am I talking about? To Steve, I think they did a lot better job with Billy, but obviously he's just a lot easier to hate right off rip. And then Max is also just a really likable character, fits in really well with the group of boys. And obviously I kind of forget to mention the group of boys in my first season type deal, but it's just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like they do play an important job. They are very good characters, and they definitely drive the storyline forward. And I think they're really good in the season. Again, it's just like the Mike and 11 stuff. That's what really makes me like just bored, honestly. And you can hate that, you can like that, but it's just my opinion, to be honest. So anyway, back to Billy and Max. I think they're some of the best characters in the show. I really, really like their characters, especially Billy. Max is a perfect, again, fits in with the group perfectly. And then obviously there's just a lot of things that go on with them, that group of people. I really like how, I honestly don't like how, oh my gosh, what Mike is such an asshole to her, like for no reason. Seems like he's just for because he's like all 11. It's kind of uncharacteristic for Mike, because he definitely seems like an accepting kid, and it just doesn't really fit his character really well. He just seems like a nice open person. Like if even though he might not enjoy her being in the group, he doesn't seem like the kid that would just like, no, we're not doing that. But obviously, whatever. I'm not the show writer. That's just how they wrote it. It just again seems a little off for his character. I don't like how he just like, again, he can be like leaning against it, but I don't like how he's like hitting a wall and it's like, no, this is not happening. It just doesn't seem like towards his character. And obviously, season two, we get the big final and the protagonist in that season, which is feeding the gecko lizard thing, and then like that all goes down. I really like how what they have with Steve, how he comes like the babysitter at this sense, and how much honestly, this is what pisses me off the most about it. Nancy almost has like every season this happens to her. She's doing something to solve a mystery with the Stranger things, but it doesn't really need to be solved. Like what she's trying to figure out, it's just it's a very big problem to me, because Nancy, she's one of my. I'm not a big fan of her character. I think she's kind of like a whore, honestly, and I just don't like how they write her character, to be honest. And I don't. I think she's a fine character. I think she's got like a fine backstory. She definitely has a reason to want this to be done and the things that she's doing, but she's just kind of an asshole sometimes. And she's again just goes around. Seems like she wants to sleep with these two boys all the time. Like it just pisses me off. She's my least favorite character. I could make a whole video about just how she's my least favorite character. But anyway, it seems like whatever like plot point she has going on, it doesn't help with the story. It seems like they're already figuring it out and doing it. It just doesn't add up to me, to be honest. It just seems like she'll always come in last minute, and then she'll just force herself upon the storyline. Like she's like, "Oh nope, I'm here now. It's my turn." And then also, it seems like the ending for this season two was also just kind of rushed, because Eleven's off screen the whole time, and honestly, her storyline sucks. It is not very good whatsoever, in my opinion. And then she just comes back and like, "You got this, right, 11?" Yep. And then she closes it. What? What? It just whatever. I shouldn't be complaining about it too much, but it just wasn't. That's no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And then anyway, we get to season three, and I really want to talk about this season because it's my favorite. It's my favorite, hands down, by far. It is a great season. Now, for some reason, Lucas is just spacing in my head right now. I can't remember what he does, because I don't. Lucas is very. I haven't mentioned him yet. Obviously, I haven't mentioned Hopper much, and the mom to Will. Can't remember her name, but this is just kind of my general thoughts about the season. I'm not going with each character. I'll do that in a different video if I have to. So anyway, season three. It's my favorite season, hands down. This mall, I just love the aesthetic of this mall. It somehow makes me feel nostalgic. It really almost reminds me of like when I was a kid for some reason. It just reminds me of something from my childhood. I don't really can't pinpoint what it is, but it definitely has that vibe. Like it just makes you feel nostalgic. And the mall is great. I love the interaction the kids have. Like, I think their storyline is actually super, super entertaining. Nancy's is honestly quite entertaining as well. And Billy's obviously is very entertaining. Honestly, everything's really, really fun to watch. And there's a lot of tension in a lot of the scenes, which I really, really like. And there's just a lot of fun, jovial parts about it. I think Dustin, I think him with Steve, and then the new girl, I can't remember her name, but the girl that works with Steve, I love her character. She's amazing. It's just awesome. I just love this season through and throughout. And again, it's not a perfect season. It's been a couple months since I've watched the show, but it's still just really, really good. Just even remembering it, just kind of off the top of my head, I would. This is my favorite season by far. I like. I love the Russian storyline. I think there's a lot of funny moments in this. I think it's the most funny season too, and I love to laugh. So definitely gonna jump it up a couple pegs for that. And I think the story is very interesting. I think the final fight is also super, super good. I also I don't like how Eleven loses her powers, and then again that's a story for another time. But yeah, I just didn't really like, and I think it's also this is when they should have like killed Will off, in my opinion. Will doesn't add too much to the story anymore. And I think he's just kind of there because he was like the one who started it all at this point, but I don't think the show writers really know what to do with him. And I think this is also a thing with Mike in the next season as well, that and Mike gets added to this. Like he just started off and now they're like, oh, we've developed these characters super well. These characters are kind of like we don't really know what to do with them, and then boom. I'm not saying they should have killed off Mike, but I think this was a time to kill off Will. Or kill off an actual character like really big into the storyline. And I don't think killing off Will would have really even affected the story that much. They would have just moved. They would have been grieving over him a little bit, and they would have probably like slowly forgot about him. But he would have kept mentioned, and this is like why we're fighting for this. I think that this would have been a really, really good time to kill off Will. Like I that would. I'm not a Will hater. I just think his character is just blunt now, and I think it's just splotted all over the screen basically, and it's just an annoyance almost. But yeah, that's really about it for this season. Again, a really, really enjoyable season. A lot of things going on. I think the plot points also are really good. And I know they like kind of fake killed off Hopper, and that might have been like their big kill off. And I think it's kind of dumb. Also, we'll get into season 4 now. How Hopper is just alive. Everybody else got evaporated in there, but Hopper's somehow able to live. Like I get it. I didn't want Hopper to die. I think he's literally the best character in this show. I think he is. I think he's the most well-rounded. I think Steve is my favorite, but I think Hopper is the best character, if that makes sense. And I think his is it's just really good. And honestly, his plot point in Russia, it's cool. It's nice. It's just a little like, really, is this actually happening? I just don't think it was needed. I just think they didn't know really what they wanted them to do. And I don't think they knew. I think they wanted Hopper to be written back in the show, but they didn't want him to have a solo adventure, and they didn't really know what to do with Will's mom. So it just kind of worked out for her to move or go save him. And with the guy who can speak Russian, the I can't remember his name. I think it's Eddie or something. Also, the scientist from season 3, I really liked him too. How Hopper's just kind of on his own. Love that storyline. So forgot to mention that. Again, I'm all over the place. So yeah, just really, really enjoyed this season 3. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Oh, anyway, season 4. Just talking about it. I also really like the guy who like can translate Russian. I think he's really, really good, and I really like that storyline. To be honest, even though I don't think it was needed, I really liked it, and it wasn't like it was advancing the main plot, but it was still good and fun to watch, and I think it's good action scenes too. So anyway, the worst part about the whole series happens in this point, and it's with Will and Mike, and what's his name, Will's brother, and then and then the dude who's always high. I can't remember his name, but Surfer Boy, pizza guy, long hair. I think I really like his character. He's really funny, but definitely the worst plot point of the series. With 11, I think hers is stupid. Why would she trust him, the doctor, after all the shit he's done? And then I don't know. It just seems like she somehow feels bad for him at the end, even though nobody should. She shouldn't have forgave him. I think she should just give him the big fucking middle finger and said, "Hey, you little bitch ass motherfucker, I'm better. You dead." Like something like that. Like it just really pissed me off, honestly, how that happened. And I don't think she should have apologized. I legitimately don't. Again, bitch ass motherfucker, get the fuck out. You're dead. I don't give a shit. You fucking fucked my whole life, honestly, and you're an asshole. Like, he really pisses me off. Like, no exaggeration of the word. He pisses me off more than any motherfucker in the world. Sorry, I'm dropping the F bomb a lot. Oh my gosh, getting my head in. It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about that storyline because it's not very good. But I really like the L11 fights them. But the best part of like the whole series, in my opinion, is with Steve, is with them fighting the big man head honcho guy. I think that is super, super, super strong. I think the fights, the visuals are all amazing. I really like the upside down. It's all really good. The basketball team stuff is kind of iffy. I think it's kind of dragged on a little bit too long. And I think the guy going crazy is just kind of stupid, and it's just like almost a little thorn. It's just like annoying. Like nobody wants to see you there. Just get out of here. Pull out. Like come on. Nobody wants to see you. I also think that part's a little bit annoying, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, that's really about it. I don't really know what else to add. Again, I think the ending is a little obviously ended on a cliffhanger. We're all ready for season 5. We're all ready to see how this wraps up. And I hate how Netflix is also doing this 3 release, like the season in 3-part strategy. I think it sucks. I think it's super slow. I don't think it's very good. And I don't like that. I think they should all either just release it at once or release it by the week. Because again, if you're releasing it in parts, I think it's good. But people, let's just say like the last 5 episodes all come out at once. You think people are just gonna, the people who couldn't, had to watch it in these 3 parts, you think they're gonna be able to watch the last part all together, and then it's gonna be spoiled for them. Like anywhere they go, they have to make sure. Oh, I can't talk about it. Oh, like when I make a video on it, for example, I'm gonna watch all 5 episodes probably the day they drop, the day after they drop. I'm gonna watch all 5 of them and make a video on it. But then I'll be like, well, should I do spoilers or not? Because maybe I don't want to do spoilers because people who it's still like relevant to will get spoiled by it. And I like doing spoilers. This is something I'm gonna talk about in another video. Legitimately, like I think spoilers in videos are good. I think they are because of the fact that it's more timeless to look back on. Say you're like you watched the Truman Show. I recently just watched this movie. I loved it. Then I went to watch a review on it, and they're like, we're not going to do spoilers here, and they're just like explaining the plot. Well, just do spoilers. I already know what the movie is. I'd just rather you explain like why you like each parts about the movie, why they are. So yeah, that's really about it. Again, the video's kind of over about Stranger Things. I do really enjoy the show. The show's an easy 9 out of 10 for me. The visuals are great. The storyline is really, really good. I think there's a lot of holes in it, but it's still really strong together. Also from Indiana, so bump it up a few pegs for me. So yeah, that's really about it. And again, as always, have a great day.